This is Chapter 1, Becoming a Fashion Retail Entrepreneur. This chapter will introduce you to the business of fashion retail from the perspective of the founder of the company. You will explore entrepreneurship, the qualities and characteristics common to successful entrepreneurs, and will learn to identify your entrepreneurial traits. Studying the field of entrepreneurship provides a chance to deal with change on a daily basis, to study all aspects of the business, and to become familiar with entrepreneurs throughout the world. For this chapter, you will need to prepare a business concept statement that you will refine in later chapters. And you will use this concept statement to begin your business plan. Looking at the entrepreneurial profile, entrepreneurs are driven and believe that success or failure lies within their personal control or influence. An entrepreneur either creates a product or service and starts their own business, or creates and manages a business venture. The picture shown in the slide is a company called Polyvore that was started by two entrepreneurs with a unique idea to have a user-generated fashion magazine online where consumers can create their own ads. Consumers can look at their ad and then click on items and go see the seller's website. Many companies began promoting their collections through Polyvore recently. So looking at being an entrepreneur in the retail industry, you don't necessarily have to be a store. You could actually be a service like Polyvore is. Today's economic climate and lifestyle preferences, as well as education and business trends, encourage and nurture entrepreneurship. Many companies are encouraging their employees to have an entrepreneurial mindset that is innovative, creative, and recognizes opportunity. Approximately 650,000 new businesses are opened each year, and around 200 of these are retail businesses. So this just shows that today's economy is very open to retail businesses, and that they are thriving within this economic climate. And entrepreneurial businesses are great for the economy in that they contribute to local economies, they provide jobs, they pay taxes, and they also generate a comfortable living for their owners. So, looking at today's environment, entrepreneurship is an upward trend both nationally and internationally. And this is mainly due to the growth of e-commerce and the number of virtual or online stores. That just provides immense opportunity for small businesses to increase sales and to tap into global markets. So, technology has made it possible for companies to accomplish more and reach more markets with fewer employees. Small companies can respond quickly to changes and trends compared to large companies, which give them a competitive advantage over them. So looking at our slide, the example that's given is hotlook.com, which is an online retailer offering 75% off the retail price of designer brands. You give this company your email and you become a member of the site, and then you get daily emails of the latest sales. Membership is free, but the invitation to join creates a level of exclusivity. Another example of a company that's very similar to this that targets mothers is Zulily. It's very popular, and it's the same thing where you have to have a membership to give that level of exclusivity, and then once you have a membership, they also have your email, so they can email you their weekly deals every week or every day. Some other virtual companies that have done well, another one is that everyone will know is Zappos. And another company that has done great with online is Amazon. So looking at fashion trends, it's important to be aware of the trends in the fashion industry, but it is also important to be aware of the ways in which people buy, how they think, and what is driving buying decisions. Looking at fashion trends, it's important to be aware of the trends in the fashion industry, but it is also important to be aware of the ways in which people buy, how they think, and what is driving buying decisions. Consumer trend watching would be noticing that people dress more casual in the workplace. You could also notice a lack of interest in knowledge in apparel quality. And with that, what we've seen with the lack of interest in the knowledge of apparel quality and in apparel quality is the popularity of fast fashion. Also, some big trends that have been seen in the retail market are the senior market, which is the baby boomers. And they have the money to spend, and they're also the second largest population group. So they're a great market to target. And the book talks about how cosmetic companies specifically target them with anti-aging products. Another big trend to watch for is resale retail with a resale store. And this is due to the weak economy. Starting in 2009, resale shops increased revenue by $223.3 million, and this was a 31% increase in business. And the picture above is from Uptown Cheapskate, and it's a fashion resale exchange franchise that is done really well. And there's actually one in Austin, Texas, and one opening up in El Paso. You can go to their website and learn more about them. They're actually a really fun-looking company. Another trend that's out there is discount retail, because discount retail sales are rising and most high-end retail sales are falling, and dollar stores are doing well with the turn of the economy. Also, another trend that's out there that's not mentioned in the book is the petite market. And the petite market caters to Latino and Asians, which is a very large population within the U.S. And also, a last trend that's out there that's a big one is the plus size market, because over 50% of U.S. women are over a size 12. And when you look at Appendix D at your example business plan, the business that is featured is a plus size retail store for women. So to be a successful entrepreneur, you need to identify the trends and then translate them into business opportunities. So for example, you see that resale retail is doing really well within the US, and maybe within your target market group that they're into that, then that would be something to think about opening a resale shop. Do you have what it takes? Entrepreneurs are innovative and creative and have a drive. They see what others do not see and meet a need or solve a problem. Retail requires an entrepreneur to be people and service oriented, which means they need to be juggling both satisfied and dissatisfied customers. They need to maintain merchandise that sells and keep an eye on cost and prices. So to be an entrepreneur, you have to wear a lot of different hats and have a lot of different skills and traits. Retail also requires the effective combination of an attractive layout and design in your store, also great customer service and attention to detail. You also have to select appealing merchandise that is priced right for the market at the right time, and have an understanding of financial issues that you'll deal with, and while also being creative. Most importantly, retail success is based on an understanding of what the customer needs and wants in order to create an atmosphere that will sell. So in this course, we're going to take you through all these aspects of owning and running a business so you can kind of see what all goes into it, all the way from picking your location to store layout to the financial side of it to the buying side of it, how much stock to have, when to get your merchandise in. We're going to go through all those different aspects throughout this course in building your business plan. So looking at some advantages of owning your own business. First, you get to be your own boss and control the outcome of your business. You also have the freedom to pursue opportunities that you identify. Many times when you work for a company, you may find opportunities, but you can't get your company to back those ideas. You also receive recognition for your store design and products you sell because it's your actual product, so you get all the recognition for it. And you also have the opportunity to maximize your return on investment, whether it is time or money that you are maximizing. Next, here are some disadvantages of owning your own business. First is time commitment, especially at the startup phase. no one is going to run your business the way you do or work as hard as you do. So that's a big thing to remember, that you are going to have to commit a lot of time to this business, especially in the beginning, because you're going to have to be the one doing everything in the beginning and get it started. Also, when you first start a business, you tend to be on a tight budget, which affects what technologies you can use in your store, how many people you can hire, and the quality of your employees. How much you can actually pay them will determine the quality of employees you can get. Also, you will need to be able to juggle resources such as time, money, employees to meet customer expectations. So problem solving is going to be an everyday occurrence when you first start your business. You also will not have the money to hire a large team usually to start your business, so most of the work is going to be performed by you. So that's where it comes in, that you need to be able to do a lot of different things and have a really broad skill set. Retail entrepreneurs who have the greatest chance of success must have a high level of interpersonal skills, such as effective communication, leading teams effectively, and listening and resolving conflict, because you're going to have to deal with all those different things. Also, you can look at some of the common mistakes made by small retailers, and this is given in box 1.1 of your book. And it says about half of small businesses last less than 2 years. And so that's why it's also important to do a business plan, to figure out all the different things that go into it, and to make sure before you start that business that you can actually do all the things that you need to make it successful. And make sure that your idea that you've come up with is something that can be funded easily, and that you have the time to be able to see it to fruition. So looking at traits of a successful entrepreneur, it's important for entrepreneurs to understand the competitive, economic, and cultural climates of the retail industry. But studies also show it's just as important for them to understand their own personal traits, skills, and needs to increase success. So looking at some traits of successful entrepreneurs, they have been shown to possess a passion, which is known as the most important trait to success. And successful entrepreneurs are driven to succeed. They also are determined to succeed and do not give up easily and persevere in the toughest of times. Also, perseverance is one of the top success factors. Also, willingness to take responsibility for their business, employees, and their actions. Entrepreneurs also need to be innovative in their thinking and creative in determining the best way to overcome an obstacle. Entrepreneurs must also be able to work on their own and do everything for themselves. They need to be able to work independently and think out of the box. They also need to have the ability to plan and prioritize effectively, because starting a business is very time consuming. So you need to be able to prioritize things to get things done, because you'll have a million things going at one time. They also follow through on commitments and provide customers with what they say they will. And last, successful entrepreneurs are able to adapt to the changing demands of customers and the industry. So a big thing is flexibility, in that you have to be willing to change your concept or even your products to meet your consumers' ever-changing needs. So next is some traits of unsuccessful entrepreneurs. First is dishonesty, and dishonesty looks at dishonesty with customers, suppliers, funders, and employees. And as we know, in any aspect of our lives, dishonesty really doesn't benefit us in any way. Next is impatience, and this can lead to targeting the wrong market or pricing inventory too low to get it sold quickly. It can be hiring the wrong market, or it can be opening a business at the wrong time. So you have to really have patience and make sure that you wait for, the right location at the right time and the right products at the right time. Also, not asking for help in areas where you don't have expertise is also a trait of unsuccessful entrepreneurs. So if you know you're not great at the numbers, that's where you need to hire someone to come in to help you with the numbers side of things, with the financing, to help you with even buying if you need help with the buying side of things. Also, unsuccessful entrepreneurs lack interpersonal skills, which means that they're not able to pacify customers, they're not able to motivate their sales force, they're not able to negotiate with suppliers. So a big thing of successful entrepreneurs is they know how to communicate with others and to connect with customers and to influence their buying decisions. So if you look on page 11 of the textbook, there's a personal assessment. And everyone needs to try to go through and do the personal assessment form. And what it does is it looks at your strengths and weaknesses, and then you can see what areas that are weak and how you're going to compensate for those areas. And by conducting a self-analysis, you can develop an inventory of personal needs in the areas of motivation, skills, and talents. Also, self-analysis helps clarify your values in terms of money, power, fun, independence, and security. So if you look at the self-assessment that's in the book, you score yourself on each statement from 1 to 4, with 1 being strongly disagree to 4 being strongly agree. And if you get a score between 31 to 80, this shows you're lacking in some areas to be an entrepreneur, while if you get a score of 81 to 124, this shows that you possess the key skills and habits needed to be successful. So say that you scored below an 80, you would want to look at the areas where you scored low, and those would be areas that you have a weakness that you're going to either need someone to help you to overcome that weakness, or that's something you're going to need to focus on and try to improve on. And that's a big important part of starting a business, just making sure that you know that you have the skills to be able to start a business and do what it takes to be successful. So looking at some skills that entrepreneurs must possess to be successful, they need to understand the impact of globalization and strategic planning. They also need the ability to understand financial statements, which is a big one because you're going to deal with that a bunch. You also need to have the ability to analyze trends and personnel requirements. So you're going to have to deal with hiring and firing of personnel, and you're also going to be able to do all the financials, all the buying, all the planning of when you're going to buy things, when you're going to put them on sale, what price are they going to start at, what are you going to mark them down to. That's all different aspects. And so if you don't possess these skills, like I mentioned before, this is where you need to hire personnel or form an advisory team with these strengths in the areas that you're lacking knowledge or expertise in to help you with your business. So even if you did score low on certain areas, you could still compensate for those by hiring certain personnel that are high in those strengths, or having a team of people that you work with, that advisory panel kind of team that help you in those areas. So looking at the 3 key factors that come into play when determining the right time to start a business. First is the venture will demand much of the entrepreneur's time. So a retailer needs to assess where they are in their life priorities and goals, and if the business will not allow them to accomplish those goals, they may want to postpone the endeavor. Also, the business may not initially provide the fashion entrepreneur with the lifestyle he or she had anticipated it would, and it may take more money than the entrepreneur has available or can secure. So the entrepreneur might need to postpone the endeavor if they have the lack of experience in the field, if they need more money than the business can provide, if they need more time, or a stronger support system. And burnout is high among entrepreneurs who do not take time for themselves, their family, and their friends. So a key part to successful entrepreneurs is that they have balance in their life, and that they don't let the whole business side of their life take over their life. Next, looking at planning for success. A well-researched concept is critical, and you must research your customers, your products, your competition, your personal goals, and the timing and funding available. Also, sufficient capital is a must. So you must research other businesses, and you can determine how much the amount of capital that you'll need by what you learn about them. Also, you need to understand the financial statements of the business, because they show the condition of the business and they provide information to make good financial decisions, such as whether to increase inventory, seek additional funding, and hire new employees. The business plan will play a significant role in the overall success of a business. It provides direction, and it addresses the strengths and the weaknesses of the business, and also allows the entrepreneur to look at the business as a whole. And the business plan will determine if the business concept is feasible and will guide the best use of resources. Also, poor management can be the greatest single cause of business failure. Management encompasses planning, organizing, controlling, directing, and communicating. So this would definitely be one, if you're not strong in management and haven't managed a lot, this is where you would need to bring in a manager that has some background and some success in this area to help you. And finally, you also need to plan your exit strategy, because this is an opportunity to create value in the company so that it can be sold sometime in the future. And exit strategies look at what the business is worth and involves knowing when you plan to exit the business. Once an entrepreneur determines they have the skills to start a business, they need to develop their business concept. And that's what we're going to do for your first assignment. The business concept usually arises from a consumer need that is not being met. So an example, if you looked at Appendix D and looked at the sample business plan, it's about Diva City, which is a made-up city that does not have a retailer that meets the plus-size woman consumers' need. So this is where the company Real Woman is born from, because they're meeting a consumer's need that is not being met within that market. In your business concept, it presents an idea for a business, and it helps the entrepreneur focus on what they want the business to be and how it is going to get there. Your concept statement should be concise and well thought out. And it should address the target market, the financial strategy, how to reach the target market, and how the concept compares to the competition. So the business concept is not actually going to be part of your actual business plan, but is crucial to the business planning process, and most of the information that you come up with for your business concept will be used in your executive summary of your business plan. So looking at the business concept, it must meet 4 requirements to be successful. First, there must be a group of customers willing to purchase the product or service that you are going to offer. The market must be large enough to support the business and generate a profit. And the entrepreneur must be able to differentiate the business from that of the competition. And the entrepreneur must be able to finance the business. So those are the 4 big requirements that if you don't have those 4 requirements in place, then there's no really way to be able to start your business and be successful. So looking more at the development of your business concept, you're going to need to know who you are and what you stand for as a company. A mission and vision statement will help you to develop your business concept. It's important to remember that you may need to revise your vision and your mission and your business concept throughout the process. A mission statement will help you determine the purpose of the company. If you look at box 1.2 of your textbook, it provides questions to help develop mission statements, and box 1.3 shows an example of a mission statement for the company that is used in Appendix D, Real Women. A vision statement provides what the owner stands for and what they believe. By developing a mission and vision statement, it gives your company direction and helps you stay on track. Your vision and mission statement, they need to be an integral part of the culture of the company, so they need to be communicated to your employees, who then communicate it to your customers. So if you look at the picture on this slide, this is a picture from Tom's. And Tom's is a company who's been really great at taking their vision and mission and using that as a big marketing tool and a way to engage their customers. And they also did a twist on their product, and then that they created a new product for a new market for an old product that had been around. But what they did that was really different is they engaged their consumers in a socially conscious mission of, you can buy shoes from us, and for every pair of shoes you buy, we give shoes to a child in need that does not own a pair of shoes in a third world country. So Tom's really came up with an twist on taking a product and making it different from everyone else and bringing social responsibility to the forefront and really getting its consumers on board with that. So looking at why the business plan is important. Your business plan is an evolving document that outlines the focus and the direction of the business. And a well thought out business plan provides direction for defining your company goals, and determining how to reach those goals. The business plan is critical for obtaining outside capital, and it provides a way to measure performance and evaluate the entire business. It also allows the entrepreneur to take a proactive approach to business rather than reactive. And in the content of your business plan, funders will look for your experience in the industry, the identified market niche that you're going to reach, your ability to generate positive cash flow, how are you going to do that, and also that you have defined operating and control systems for your business. And your business plan is intended as a management tool to be evaluated on a regular basis. So you want to use it to help you manage your business and to make changes to help you to be successful. And this is the end of Chapter 1, Lecture 1.